Hello and welcome to another gameplay review on the Virkayu gameplay channel, and in this one we have the champion that's the second best champion with a hammer. The first one is of course Owen Jungle, but you know, Poppy Jungle, Trundle Jungle, usually left for those hidden OP videos. Trundle obviously is now no longer really hidden OP, we're kind of seeing him being picked directly because he counters certain champions in the meta. Poppy, while she's kind of had an on and off, you know, romance with junglers over the past year or so, ever since that first hidden OP jungler in Season 10, now, once again, Lee Sin, Viego, Kindred, Graves, Evelyn, Nidalee, Poppy does very well into all of those. If you're a high elo career player, or just someone who likes to play, or plays in an elo in any region really, where you see those champions a lot, and I think we all see those champions a lot anyway, Poppy's a great choice to pick up and play. Now, we do have a Grandmaster player here who has basically decided, you know what, I'm going to start playing around with the Poppy because it does so well into things like Nidalee. Here we see the runes on your screen now, obviously. We see the Nidalee getting a leash on the red buff. The thing about Poppy, though, is you have a multitude of runes that you can go. The downside is, obviously, the first clear is kind of slow. So we'll talk about that in a second. You can kind of see what's going to happen. The Electrocute's nice for your early game damage, reliable, useful, can help you snowball specific lanes, even yourself. Whereas if you have things like the Dark Harvest, you're kind of foregoing that guaranteed damage early because you want to scale as a tank that does more damage than you're meant to. A little bit of waffling here. We are not fans of that on this channel. Obviously, in Belgium, we do enjoy waffles. This path thing is unnecessary. I see this a lot. I don't know why we're going down and then across. You can just walk straight. There's no vision whatsoever. You're completely safe. We see that the Nidalee is now ahead on tempo, which he's obviously going to be. So, when you're playing something like Poppy here, she's got the E and the Q ready to go. Don't forget to pick up your Oreo biscuit there, it gives you a shield. We had a ward on the red, and now we're doing a 5 camp, or it looks like she's doing a 5 camp. In these situations, okay, the top laner has to anticipate, you know what? Nidalee's gonna be here at 3 minutes. If it's an Elise, you're getting 230. If it's a Nidalee, you're getting 3 minutes. Volleyball, same kind of thing. You've got to play around it, you've got to ward and protect, but the ward here doesn't help you. You know, you don't need this ward as Riven, because, hello, look, oh no, if only we could have predicted this, and she flashes and ignites forward. Now, Poppy was doing a 5 camp, and this is where I think, you know, we need to rewind a little bit, because obviously it's very important. Do you anticipate the Nidalee ganking this? Yes. So why not be present for it? Ditch the Gromp. The Grump will be there afterwards. Float on up for the counter gank. You can easily get there in time if you predict it and play around it properly. Kite up the camp, you know, use your smite and whatnot. You're not going to be there, you know, it depends on the clear, I guess, but you're not going to be there always at a 1-to-1 ratio, like exactly as she ganks. But as a Warwick, as a Poppy, as anything that's slower than a 5 camp clearer, try the 4 camp, just to make sure you are there for these plays. If your lane is being pushed in, I think there's way less pressure because you're not going to fight the Nidalee over the crab anyway, so we don't mind doing that 5th camp. But here now, because she decides to go for the Grump, she's actually ditching it, and I think this is a mistake. She wants to go clean up the Camille kill, which can work because Camille has no flash, but she's going to see you if she's paying attention, and now you lose the topside crab. So I definitely think I'm not a fan of this early game. Okay. We snipe it away. That is, of course, giga value. But I'm definitely a fan of the 4 camp there to counteract the 5 camp clear. And then potentially just trying to snipe away that crab with ease. And then trying to get something in the mid lane into the bottom lane crab. But overall, it's still fine. We can still play the game. The ganks without a wall are not always easy. And against 2 ranged champions, you're a Lulu Poppy. What are you going to do? Nothing. Now, the thing is it's worth noting. The whole red team saw you go through this and down. Everyone else knows Lucian and Nidalee are here now. Against good mid laners, you're going to get wards here. So let's have a look. There you go. Beautiful. And now Nidalee's obviously doing this. So what the Poppy can do then is say, right, that's not ideal, but I picked Poppy. My job here is to be able to counteract some of the Nidalee pressure by providing CC, tankiness, fighter ability, shields. You're not necessarily going to run into a jungle 1v1 without consideration of lane prio, but at the very least, your champion kit, if you are present in those fights, is insanely strong. So look for those early opportunities, those 4 camp ganks. Look for the 3 camp as well if you really want to get out ahead of a full clearer. You're probably losing the Raptor camp here. We know this. The plant was hit. This is all stuff you have to predict. But look at bottom lane. You've been doing Krugs for so long. Thresh goes all in onto the Varus, who now flashes. You pin him against the wall for that extra damage. You've got your auto, you've got the Q, you've got the shield, you've got the W for... there you go. Nicely done. Now, this is heads-up jungling here. We saw the Nidalee briefly in Vision, and we're going to chase down the Varus. I like that. I like it a lot. Now, the Varus is dumb. We kill him, we kill him. Beautiful. Nicely done. Take the Lantern, hit the plant to deny that Vision, and off we go. This is really good, because if Nidalee had gone back to base here, and we saw her kind of briefly show, then you know she's going to most likely come on down and do this. So this plant denial is interesting, and if Varus has kind of gone back to base as well, you could look to try and take that away with Thresh's assistance, but the Varus gave us a kill anyway, so great. This is what we can do with Poppy, by the way. You know, that you're not going to be better than a lot of meta junglers for your ganks. You're not going to be better than a lot of meta junglers at your clears, but what you can do is just be there and counter the meta with it. You know what I mean? You can disrupt the dash ability. Good ward. We see this. I'm not a fan of this power thing, though. This is very waffly by the Poppy. Are we looking to gank the Camille pre-6? Yeah, but we're never going to get there in time, as you can see. So I think if you're going to look for a top-to-bottom sequence, just go straight to the Gromp, down to the Wolves. You can look then mid lane, perhaps. But again, Lucian, Lulu, there's not much you can do, you know? But Poppy does a great job at actually disrupting. And we're waiting for that 6 now. That's what's huge. And I think playing her on bottom lane would be a good idea. But because of that W, I guess, 2020 champion denial with the dashes, you can actually look to counter gank this. This is nice. So the reason for this, and I think if she's going to do this, you kind of just want to start with the Wolves, go up, and then you have a much easier time. We see the Nidalee doing these things. So Nidalee most likely can do two things. She can take this, sequence up, and gank the Riven once more. She can do this knowing that the Poppy has nowhere else to go but topside, and then try and sneak a dragon and maybe counter jungle more and dive bot. So Poppy doesn't really know exactly where she is. Let's uncover. Okay, so we see this. Poppy is anticipating this and trying to bait something in with the Camille. Let's observe and study. We go for the stun. We bait out the ult. We get the empowered. Okay, she just dies. There's no point commentating that. Camille hath death. And Nidalee manages to flash to kill the Riven. And now obviously the range versus melee thing, Nidalee is oppressive for that reason. That's fine. We take it. Now we can actually afford to... You can see there's no TP. She's kind of like, is Nidalee still here? Catching the wave? Do I want to push to deny? Kind of rough. So she just goes back in the bush to absorb some experience. Right. It's a little bit of a disjointed game early, but hopefully you can see what I'm thinking about in terms of making sure the Poppy comes online. We really do need 6. We'll get it after the red buff. Thresh is now roaming with tempo there. We have a crab on the bottom side. Nidalee's going to reset 100% as well. Hook, ignite, stun. You hit the auto, you hit the Q, and basically that's it. You can always use your W as they try to escape. That's fantastic. That's what we come here for, right? That's fantastic. Thank you, Brad. Lucian's most likely... I take it back. He's not going to die. And right here, this is the power of Poppy, and that's why you can counter the meta. Did you see that damage? The electrocute. Just a simple combo of pinning against the wall for bonus damage. You got the auto, which is nice when you've got the cookie to pick up for shield as well, as long as you're positioning correctly. You've got the auto Q, and that's it, you know? And if they're trying to escape, you just say W. Because, as you can see, not only does that give you resistances, we don't really talk about that either, but she stops nearby enemy dashes. So, absolutely huge. From here, you're not going to have the same solo objective potential, but because your skirmishing and damage is actually really high, provided the scenario is good, you can always look to push lanes and gank lanes. Now, it's interesting that the bottom lane has gone back to base, Poppy has gone down. She is forsaking top lane. I think this was pretty much predicted. Poor Riven. Just like the Shyvana video, top lane is not paying attention to jungle tracking, and then they flame their jungler. Guys, it's not difficult. Where did Poppy die? Where did Nidalee die? Here. What did Poppy do afterwards? Took blue. What does Nidalee know that the Poppy did? Take blue. So why would the Nidalee waste time going down here where everyone is, instead of just making sure to secure this side, have counter jungling here, have a free objective, purely because Poppy's bottom lane went back to base? Nidalee's always going to be topside, you know, and it doesn't take a genius to figure that out. I know jungle tracking with what I'm saying here might be more tough for newer players, But for a high elo laner, you gotta see that, you know? You gotta play the lane accordingly. You can't just push narcissistically and expect the world to revolve around you. That's not how it works, top laners. You know? It's not how it works at all. It's just a Fiora all over again. Now, Nidalee obviously is going to get the Herald, and Poppy wards there as a defense mechanism, anticipating that either Nidalee is going to come counter jungle, or Nidalee is going to do the Herald and then counter jungle. So what she does, defends, holds top lane for more juices, and now can sequence down. Basically, you can just ignore the Riven. I would love to look for a dragon here. That Herald early is huge. We can look for a dragon. This ward is placed, which means we know Nidalee should be around. Here's a ward here as well. Okay, Nidalee shows on the top side. There you go, Riven. There you go. Look at what that does. Now our jungler says, hey, let me help you. Warded so she knows. I still anticipate some kind of shenanigans. Although this is silly. Is she going base? She's going base, right? Yeah. But hilariously enough, what this does is, as you can see, the Lucian thinks that the Poppy's going to go top lane and perhaps try and do something. So the Lucian's like, hey, you know, I can 3v2 this. I can 3v2 this. And Poppy's like, yeah, okay. And she presses W, and basically Lucian says, I mean, what? Poor ADC. I mean, he deserves it. He's playing Lucian mid. Come on. I mean, not that the Lulu mid is much better, but it's Lucian mid, so come on. Now imagine if we had a Herald, though. Good. Really nicely done. And because of this play, the Nidalee hangs around, which is exactly what I was saying. If we see her float back, she's either backing or looking to do something. So she can just do this, go straight in while the Riven holds on as long as possible. Nice switch around there, or whatever that is. Poppy now can float on up to follow. Lucian TB's in as soon as he spawned. The Lulu ult comes through. Poppy's looking for an angle for an E. Hits it. Very nice. Forces the Lucian splash, as we would expect. No spells up, which means you have to keep your distance. Lulu kills the Camille. Kick W's in the face. Poppy once again says, stop trying to dash. Just accept it. And they swing the 2 for 2. Really nice. Overall, a 3-4-1 for Poppy. And obviously the Lulu is Lulu, but this is really just a Poppy show. 4-0-5 now. And the early Sheen is crucial because of it's like Volibear, right? The skirmishing power of having a Sheen on something like Poppy, on something like Volibear. Really, really powerful. Back to base. Divine Sundra completed. Obviously, that's what we're going. We're not going tank. Although you can. You can go tank. And then the early pressure bottom lane, as you can see, look at this. This is something I need you all to understand in a very serious way. Stop saying bot gap, because the Poppy made this happen. If you give your bottom lane a lead, especially in higher elos, you know, as you get higher through Diamond, you enter Master Tier, it can become a very snowbally lane. And look at this vision they give you as a byproduct of now having Prio because you gave them a lead. The fight here as well. Out of base, though, don't give them anything for free. Clear the vision. I think we walked over something. No, we didn't. Never mind. I'm seeing things. My bad. I thought there was a ward here for some reason. But this is good. This is good. Very nice. I like it. This is a bit of patience. Vard is kind of rotating to get his doots. And I think she's looking and... I mean, you can do this. You're not going to outfarm a Nidalee, but you can definitely outpressure the Nidalee in terms of lane impact. If a Nidalee's good, though, you obviously have a rough time, but because of the W, just it changes so much. And here as well, the bonus magic resist and armor, right, is great, but it's doubled if you're below 40% HP. And that is something really, really worth noting. When you get executed, when you have things against you like a Nidalee, like a Viego, like a Graves, that added tankiness as they, you know, give you that initial burst really is useful. Here, I'm not a fan of this. I think once Nidalee's kind of disappears upwards, it's kind of obviously going to try and use a Herald top lane. This is the lane she chose to gank in camp. Bard also shows up here. Let's have a look. Lulu shows... Ooh! Everfrost. Everfrost. Wow. That is... Okay, so if you have a duo that you like to play with, we can recommend the Lulu Poppy combo. Apparently that is hysterical. This is still pushing top lane. Riven's basically fed up on live. So I think we could have looked potentially for a dragon. If I'm a Volibear, I'm usually one of those people that likes to kind of equal and opposite. But if your bottom lane is ahead, and this does happen, you know, it's not true that every single game you play, your bottom lane is losing. And if it is, then you're definitely the reason, you know. Probability simply doesn't work that way, where it's every game your bottom lane's ending. You know, you have to have some kind of relationship to it if you're the only consistent factor. But if your bottom lane is winning and they can take this tower without you, and you're in Korea where you don't really factor in Drakes as much, this is a good rotation for the Lulu Poppy. But in your games, most likely, you're not going to see this kind of roam from the Bard and the Nidalee. So just look to take objectives when they're given to you, you know? It's a good mental thing as well for lower elos. Everyone's happy when they get dragons. So, 505, 99 CS, same as the Nidalee, who's 431, who's tried to have a good game. But the Nidalee, the Poppy's just physically counted her 3 or 4 times, and that makes it very difficult. No concern for the Krugs. All my homies hate Krugs, as I said. Actually, that's a lie. We enjoy Krugs, but they're just not always worth the investment, you know? And Ivor mains hate Krugs because they don't even get full value. That's what you get for playing a support. A lot of wards there. Lucian is now, I guarantee you the Lucian's Giga tilted because he had kind of sort of control over his lane. Wait, there it is. The W. It's just so annoying. This is how you counter the meta. Just counter the meta with Poppy. There you go. They pick something like Volibear, you just pick Trundle, and you have your way with him. If they pick Volibear, Volibear is kind of decent into Poppy. I don't mind that matchup at all. But if you're ever against those Viegos and those Graveses and Nidalees, honestly, it can be so much fun just to play Poppy. You're not going to ever match a tempo, so it's always about your pathing, right? You see that Poppy here is forsaking certain farming tendencies and just rotating looking for the battle. You know, that's what she wants. She wants to get fighting. We saw the Camille go here, but I think it'd be absolutely insanely greedy to try and take this when it's on vision. Obviously, the Gromp is freer than the blue. And now because our bottom lane is ahead, because of those early actions and the fight in the river here, we have team rotations activated. That game state elevation, that's what the Nidalee was trying to do. She saw the bottom lane very easily was going to take the bottom lane tower and get 5 plated. So the Nidalee just goes here with the Bard to try and compensate some kind of value into the Camille. But because the blue team's bottom lane made that play first, hey, we get to rotate first, which means we get to dictate the flow of the map. I'm really fascinated that there is no dragon taken. Honestly. I know it's not really a total win condition, but you would think of early Mountain Drake for a Poppy who has those bonus resistances like an Ornn. Kinda nice, so. In one of those situations, I'm sure you guys will figure out a way to take the dragon. Just please pay attention to Prio. Okay. So, they took it out on the Lulu. They are not happy with the Lulu. Then again, no one is. I don't think anyone enjoys playing versus Lulu. No, I can't think of anyone that I play that likes that champion. Is there a potential dragon? Or we just want to float down and kill? Ah, the Goons squad arrives. However, Riven has a trick up her sleeves. And oh, that was disgusting. You guys want to see that again? Shall we watch that again? That was nice. So Riven, I would think her mental is completely broken. But this is very nice. That stun was brilliant. Boom! I mean, looks like the Lucian flashed into it actually, but you know what? It was nice either way. You hit a 3-man stun, you take credit every time. Can we dragon now? I don't know, I'm getting tilted. I'm an EU West, I kind of want the dragon. No one in EU West at 18 minutes. If there's no dragon taken in 18 minutes, every EU West jungler is getting just hives. And upset. This is unnatural. Started blinking and everything. Please. Come on, man. I'm already on the 3rd dragon as Volibear. I've soloed that thing early. I'm on the 2nd one's taken. I'm preparing for the 3rd here. You can tell I'm getting a little anxious. But you don't really need it, you know. It's important to focus on those things. At the end of the day, the sole goal is towers into the Nexus. The dragons just help you kind of get... Ah. Oh, man. It's just so funny to watch. Everyone in 2021 is trying to dash, and Poppy just says no. No. I forbid it. And now you can just win the fights. I mean, you take away the core part of a champion's identity, which is keeping that auto spacing and ability spacing with their dashes, you know, and they just can't do it. There's a lot of damage from that Q as well. People don't always anticipate that. I feel like it's just heralding straight down the mid. They don't actually win here. This is very curious, because this looks like an... Things. This looks like one of those opens, you know what I mean? Like, you 100% think this game is GG over, but there's a whole bunch of time left. And honestly, I think having some kind of patience is very good as well. It's an early inhib. I suppose that's fair. He did a good job. But Thresh Hook, Flay, W isn't going to hit. Obviously, the movement speed is nice, but it's not going to hit. Right, that's a reset, I think. We're going for the early Stirax. And, oh, hello. Yeah, you got to watch this. This is where people throw a lot. So what will happen is you will all decide, hey, we won. We got an inhib. Thumbs up. Goes back to base. Thinks it's about time we get the dragon. And the enemy team just goes and sneaks away a Baron, which helps them push up the super wave you just gave them, which gives them gold and keeps them fed. Lulu helps Riven. So Riven has renewed her hope in life. I'm loving this. I'm loving this. This is just so funny. This is just so funny. I mean, we've got 1600. We kind of want to go finish it. There we go. Kindle Gem and a Control Ward. Perfect. Again, Riven could solo the dragon here very easily. As she does. Very good. We can Baron from this. They catch the bird out and we can Baron. It's a bit of a one-sided affair at this point. But that's always such a good thing versus team comps like what you're facing here. You're looking at a Lucian, Nidalee, Camille. They want that early mid-game lockdown. That's what they're playing around, right? So what you don't want to do is give them free dragons, because obviously as soon as they get to that soul, and stacking objectives because they have a lead early, it can become difficult for teams to scale gracefully, you know, where you can sort of reach that point where you can win fights. But here with a Lulu, a Philios, Poppy, and a Riven and a Thresh, you win those fights later. You know, there's no ways they beat you. The way that Poppy played the game, obviously you saw a little bit of caution early, a little bit messy, but it's always looking to get in on the fight. Right, that's a Baron. 3-man bottom lane. Lulu has TP and she's splitting top lane. Poppy is deciding to sort of go probing for some kind of catch. Lucian, for some reason, thinks it's okay to walk straight into her. Again, what are you going to do, my friend? What do you think you're going to do? We've got a TP from the Lulu now to fight, but of course, Lucian is dead, so it's a 4v4. Nidalee just says, okay. The Poppy's pushing up, so. This is how you close out these games, by the way. You've always asked me, Virkayu, how do I close out games I have a lead? This is it. You know, take this inhib at 19 minutes. Make those picks, steal their stuff, secure the dragon. Again, keep making picks, push up the waves together. You see this. Does your team need you right now? No. You made a pick by yourself on a crucial member. You made a pick on someone. Or something. And now you have numbers advantage. Rotate, push waves. Don't always necessarily let them counteract your pressure, you know? I don't see a lot of people pushing up mid waves at this point, which is why I say it. They just go and join their team, they go farm their camps. You see Nidalee down here fighting Riven. This is perfect from the Riven. Absolutely perfect. This is fine. Because all this does is just open the base up. So we take one inhib, we use that pressure to make a pick, take a dragon. Baron. We then push up the opposite lane, which is the bottom side, using that Baron. We make a pick, we push it up. Now we have 2 inhibs. Now you just reset together and everyone can just goon squat top lane into a 3rd inhib. And it's way too early. Nidalee died to the Camille. It's way too early for them to be able to handle that pressure whatsoever, right? Here we go. Going into the Randuins. Obviously, they got a lot of ADs, so very useful. But this is just, it's what I termed, I guess it's not, maybe I didn't term it, but I've always called it just around the world. One inhib, next inhib, next inhib. You just, it's pretty straightforward. If you think like that and use that as your baseline sort of macro decision, you'll find it's much easier to close these games. Like here, they're making a full commitment. Doesn't matter what she's doing. Just push this, push this, push this, push this. You could always look to do this mid-inhib. And again, the Poppy, do I need to be here? No, let me cut the wave. They're pushing here to try and counteract the pressure. We got Supers pointing in the bottom lane. I'm just going to go and hit this. Takes a little longer, right? But you can do it. You can cut the wave as well while your ADC pushes the top lane. And that's it, guys. Use the Baron to push towers. Once you've got an inhib, Don't greed. Take another one. Once you've got that one, don't greed. Probably kind of semi-did. Go back to base, spend your gold, take another one. And that's why pro play can be kind of boring at the end, especially in these sorts of games, because it's predictable. But in solo queue, you can do the same thing. All right. But yeah, there you go. I don't really have anything to say about it. It's just closing it out, you know. They overcommit, you kill them. Just don't throw. Ooh, that's nice. Camille flank top side. She's diving the bottom lane. Remember, as Poppy, you're not always... Look at that, Kimus. You're not always... see, this is what I'm talking about with throws. You see? This is what I'm talking about. You're not always sort of like the backline diver that she's being this game. You can also peel and should also peel for your backline, especially when they're fat. This is the kind of stuff we're trying to avoid, though. This now is a little bit risky because you're just feeding them super minions, super minions, super minions. There is a time limit on how you can close this game. So this death here to the Camille, not so good. This little skirmish here, not so good. We kind of just wanted to push up a bit more. And you wait for these waves to push in, and you just siege. But we can get a Drake from it. You can get a Drake and then a Baron. Wait a second. Outsmiting in Nidalee? We don't have smite. 2 seconds. She pinged it as well. The Riven just had to hold. The Riven just had to hold. That's tragic. Tragedy. Maximum scale. Well, we can just go do the Baron now, right? Base it. Randuin's it. Double control wards. Good pressure. Straight to the pit. Let the supers handle the business. Alright. That's actually a really nice bot ult. That was close. That was close. But you can see now, you're just juicing them. Even though you're a better comp at this stage, you're just juicing them. All reset by pots if you need. But now we can just shove it down. This is a closeout with a little bit of a long, you know, a few extra steps in here that I'm not a fan of. But in principle, as you can see, it's not that tough. Like, he's overcommitted. He's overcommitted, so he gets chunked and now he's out of the fight. Riven overcommitted, she gets chunked, she's out of the fight. Probably has to disengage 2 people, now Thresh is dead. That's how you throw games. This is how you throw games, by one person overstepping. Don't be that person. And then, of course, you do have leads, so. Riven, Lulu, stopwatch, W protection, and now disrupt. Face tank and disrupt. You see, you fed them 2 super minions. What, 3 inhibs, right? 3 inhibs. Bot ult is already up again. Well, that was messy. But they won it. At the end of the day, that's the important thing. Man, that went on way longer than it needed to. The AFF. Well, hopefully you can see the early and mid-game power that Poppy brings and how she matches at 1v1 against the meta junglers. And obviously a little bit of an... not the best way to close out, but sort of... hopefully you can see what you're looking for and what you're not looking for. Helps to visualize different situations. Thank you very much for watching. Please do like, share, and comment if you did. Don't forget that coaching is linked below, although I'm going in hiatus for August. I need my roof replaced. Not even kidding, the whole bloody roof. So next week will be the last week for coaching. I will upload all of that stuff to Patreon, though. All the coaching gets uploaded to Patreon. And I will make sure Patreon gets all kinds of coaching stuff next month as well. Don't worry. Tier list is on the main channel. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, I will see you all in the next tutorial.